Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Age of Mythology, Retold Edition. This is a reimagining of the classic real-time strategy game from the early 2000s. One of the best ever made, in my opinion, and certainly one of my childhood favorite games. Now, this is not a simple remastering of Age of Mythology, though it does certainly have an improved UI and some quality of life improvements and substantially improved graphics, but rather this is a game that is going to be rebuilding the classic experience from the ground up. It does have a lot of the game you are familiar with, but it also adds in a few new balancing features, right? Some new content that you haven't seen before, and has substantial implications for the franchise. If you're an old fan of Age of Myth, this actually has a lot to be excited about. Now, the game isn't coming out until September 4th, although the premier purchasers do have earlier access than that. I got access because Xbox knew I was a big fan of the game and wanted to make sure that I got an early copy, so of course a big thank you to them for that. Now, in this video, I'm going to be mostly playing with a skirmish because I figure that's a great way for people to see some of the content, get a feel for what it's like, though I do want to talk about some of the differences I've noticed in things like the campaign and some of the new content that is available. We'll come back to that, though. Let's go ahead and jump into the skirmish, and I'll show you how this works. So for this skirmish, who should I play with? Well, there are many different gods that you can choose from, and if you haven't seen Age of Mythology before, the game is broken up into playing with several major god factions from the Greek, Egyptian, and Norse mythology, and then you have a bunch of minor gods that you will be able to invoke later on, and they do change depending on which god you've picked. There's also going to be the Atlantean faction available on release of the game, which was part of the DLC for the original, so that all comes with it. What we do not see here is the Chinese mythology that came later with the extended edition. I think that's going to come later as a separate DLC, but for now that's fine. This is all derived from Greek mythology as well, just using the Titans. The Greeks would be kind of the classic experience to go with in this game, and I'm kind of thinking I might have to do that. Sure, tell you what, we're going to be playing as Zeus, alright? You can't go wrong with Zeus. But I will go for a free-for-all game against Ra, Thor, and Uranus. Sure, this seems good. And here we go. All right. Now, of course, this is a real-time strategy game, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to talk and play this well at the same time, but I will certainly give it my best. There are three main resources that you need to worry about in this game, and that is going to be food, wood, and gold. You'll use this for training up units, getting technology, and building just about anything, honestly. I'm going to place down a granary by the berry bushes to save on travel time. Same thing with a storehouse up over here, so we can speed up getting the lumber and the gold production. Great. There is a fourth resource you'll have to worry about that is going to help separate this game from things like Age of Empires, and that is favor of the gods, your chosen god, right? The more favor you have, the more you can invoke god powers or train mythological units to aid your armies in battle, which is pretty darn exciting. For that, we're going to need a temple, though, and I need to get my economy up and running first. I'm going to make sure we scout the nearby area. We found a couple of little settlements. I could place down new town centers over here, but honestly, in a skirmish game, I don't often find that that is necessary. You can, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to have extra town centers. Usually I can win the game with just one. And by the way, for those of you who are hoping that I might show this entire game completely unedited, that's not going to happen. There's a lot I want to cover in this particular video, so I will make use of some jump cuts. But for the most part, I think you guys will follow along with what I'm doing without any problem whatsoever. Hello, free cows. I'll take those. Let's make sure we build up some houses, make sure we don't get too close to our cap here for our population. Looks like we found an Atlantean scout, an oracle who can wander around and increase his field of vision, so that can be a problem. You're stealing my cows! How dare you? Those are mine. Now, you may notice up over here we have this big lightning bolt. All right, this is a special god power, something we are granted by Zeus. Every god, major or minor, is going to give you some form of a power that you can use. Now, in the original game, you could only use this ability once, unless you were Atlantean, in which case you had multiple charges for a power, which was one of the reasons they were so darn strong. But one thing that's interesting in Age of Mythology, and you're going to see this, reusable powers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you that the first time we get to combat. It's got some pretty substantial implications behind it, and I am excited about that for absolute sure. Let's go ahead and start building up that temple now, by the way. I want to continue getting some lumber and some food production so we can easily progress into the next age. Just like a game like Age of Empires, you do progress through various ages. We can get into the classical age, the heroic age, and eventually the mythical age. And that's going to unlock the best stuff for us in the game. Hello, a relic. We need to make sure we grab one of these. Town centers get more population, population cap goes up, and so on. Okay, so it's just extra population cap. Not a bad thing. Looks like we may have found the green player. Okay, so we're probably going to be going up against him first. Okay, we can now go ahead and advance, so we will do that. Now we get to choose our minor god. We can go for Athena, get the restoration ability, Minotaurs, and some unique technologies. Or Hermes, the ceasefire ability, the centaurs, which are very, very powerful, and also a couple of unique technologies for them. Focus on cavalry or infantry. I generally kind of go for the infantry, so I think I will take Athena. The Hermes can be good. I also like the restoration ability just more than ceasefire as a general rule. I think that's just better. Hey, let's get myself a Pegasus. This costs some food and a little bit of favor, but it is a flying scout that I can use to just go ahead and learn more about the world, and this is our first mythological unit. Look how beautiful you are! Now, one thing I like about this retelling here, it does still have most, I think all, of the same, like, sound effects for all the different units. So, if you grew up playing this, you're gonna get some nostalgia, for sure. But let's talk about something that is new, and actually this one's going to take a little explanation, but there is something here called a villager priority option. I'm going to actually pause the game and just show you a screenshot of this so I actually can talk about this as much as I need to. So most real-time strategy games are always going to be a combination between macro and micro, right? Which is to say you need to build up your economy and manage all your different workers and get your production and infrastructure set up, but then you also need to be able to pay attention on the battlefield and manage all your units. Something like this is designed to make the macro a lot easier. Whenever you have idle villagers, or actually just any villagers at all, you simply say what ratio you want to be working on food, lumber, and gold, and in theory, your people are going to be out working in that ratio. It's a great way of managing a lot of your stuff and not having to pay too much attention to it or worrying about accidentally having some idle villagers and wasting a lot of time, right? It's a pretty cool idea. And if this works, it's something I would like to see introduced in a lot of real-time strategy games. I think it's going to increase accessibility quite a lot. However, as you're going to see from this extra clip I'm going to show right here, it doesn't always work as intended. In fact, I've had a lot of problems with this feature so far, and it seems to have to do with the range of a town center because the AI doesn't know how to assign villagers outside of the range of the town center itself. So you'll see from this clip is I said, hey, I want you to go ahead and work on mostly food, but some gold and some wood. Well, the gold is slightly outside of range of the town center, so it just automatically assigned everyone to food and wood. If you try reassigning it, it again says, well, I can't find gold, even though there's some very close by. And then some of the workers just get stuck and idle and have no idea what to do when the AI doesn't properly reassign them. Plus, you have some workers who get stuck on the same farms. Like, lots of weird things come from this feature. I don't think it's working right. I don't know if it's just the range of the town center, or if it's not taking into account the range of your granaries and storehouses. It's something like that, and it really messes things up, so I find that I have to turn this feature off, which is very unfortunate, because this is one of the big selling points, I think, for the retelling. Pausing this real quick. Hey guys, it's Pravus from the future. In the time that it took me to make this video, I did get a response back from Xbox about these concerns, and according to them, this is a known issue that has been fixed as of tomorrow. So I'm leaving this all in the video right now just in case it's a problem and you're prepared for it, but if it's fixed, hey, so much the better. All right, back to the video. Also, this feature is useless for the Greeks, right? Because if I want to gain any favor, what I have to do is assign villagers to go and pray at a temple. But this doesn't have an option for prayer. So if you click on any of these options, it'll unassign all your workers who are praying and go send them to go do other things. It's like, well, that's not helpful. That's not what I need at all. By the way, let's go ahead and get Jason, one of our Greek hero units. I want this guy to go and grab the relic and bring it back home. Let's also make sure we go through and get some upgrades for our economy, hand axes, pickaxes, upgrade for husbandry, for farms, all of those things would be great. Hello, a lot of Atlanteans are over here harvesting. Atlanteans bring their travel, like, drop-off with them, like in pack mules. They're actually really, really good, honestly. The Atlanteans are maybe an overpowered faction, but you can make almost anything work. Now, one thing that's kind of fun about this game is the way that you gain favor is different for every faction. So the Greeks just pray, the Egyptians build big monuments to the gods and passively gain favor, and the Norse have to, like, fight people in order to go to Valhalla. So they're a very aggressive faction, right? There's a lot of cool stuff to like. This is probably, unlike Age of Empires, I think that Age of Mythology really started experimenting with kind of asymmetry in how they play the game, which I think is a really, really cool feature. Let's make sure we get some military buildings up and running. I do want to get my archery range and a barracks up and running so I can get some infantry and archer units. Not too worried about getting the cavalry quite yet. That would be useful at some point. Okay, so over here we have some archers and we have some peltasts. We could have anti-infantry or anti-archers, basically. Let's get some Toxotes. I think these will be fine. We can also get upgrades for them, make them medium-range soldiers, and so on. All of that's not bad as long as we have the economy to sustain it. And let's make sure we keep training up more workers. I always need more. Over here, by the way, in the temple, you can see we now have access to the Minotaur, and this does cost me some of my favor in order to train these guys up. Plus, we have the unique technologies. So, Olympian parentage, make our heroes better, or we can have upgrades to our Minotaurs. Let's train up another hero. We can get Heracles. Heroes are basically specialized units at killing myth units. So, it's worth having a handful of these. Greeks can only have, like, special named characters, like, you know, from Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey and that kind of a thing. Egyptians tend to have pharaohs and priests. Norse, a lot of their units, actually, their Hefnir and such, end up being kind of the mythical units or the mythical slayers, you know? And then finally, the Atlanteans, kind of their regular, ordinary soldiers can be promoted into heroes. It's a unique thing for them. So they're really good at taking down myth units. Now, you might think I want to go on the aggression against these other players right away, and I do want to be aggressive, but I'm going to be trying to go for what is effectively a Castle Age rush, like from Age of Empires 2. I want to get to that heroic age. That means I need plenty of food and plenty of gold. But at the same time, I can't neglect getting a proper military together because you never know if the AI is going to be trying to make a move on me. Now, I do like going for hoplites with Athena. They're mostly good against cavalry, but we get a lot of extra bonuses here because of Sarissa and also the Aegis Shield, right? These are things that are famous for Athena as a figure from Greek mythology, so therefore, these are things that you'll be finding in the game. Honestly, this game is what got me into mythology just as a hobby. Greek, Egyptian, and Norse mythology became things I really enjoyed studying and reading about because it's just so gosh dang cool. All right, now, if I want to be getting myself up to the next age, I do need to get things like an armory or maybe a market. Yeah, let's go ahead and get ourselves the armory quickly so that we can progress. And now we can go ahead and move on. Dionysus or Apollo? Ranged soldiers or cavalry? Dionysus is quite good. The Hydra is a very strong unit. Bronze armor, some of these abilities are quite good too. But I think I'm going to go for Apollo. Underworld Passage could give me some ability to start setting up extra bases pretty easily and move between locations. The Manticore is a very good unit. And I'm going to be making use of archers, so I think it makes sense. Now, over in the armory, it does exactly what you expect. Upgrades for various different weapons, armor, and so on against different weapon types. Yeah, it's useful stuff. I'm going to train up another round of units, and there's a nice little tracker up over here at the top left, so it's actually very easy to see everything that I'm currently working on. But once we have those all training, I'm going to sort of stack up a few resources because I want to get my next round of upgrades for my economy, the bone saw, the shaft mine, some upgrades to farms, anything that gets my economy up and running. Then we start going military very, very heavily. Looks like all the other players are just now getting up into the heroic age. I'm definitely the first to get there. I want to use this advantage while I can. Do you think we should attack the Egyptians or the Atlanteans? I feel like I'm more scared of the Atlanteans. So let's see if there's any damage that I can do. I'm going to go for mostly just a quick harassment against them while I continue to focus on my macro game, which I know I'm not doing great at right now, but I do want to keep getting more resources. The more economy I have, the better. I mean, 10 out of 10 commentary there, Pravus. Oh my gosh, more economy be good? Yeah, who would have guessed? That's amazing. Okay, they're coming out to meet me, so this is good. They've got a lot of heroes, so I expect my Minotaurs and people to struggle here, but let's go ahead and attack. And I'm going to use a lightning bolt against, let's say, how about this? Boom! There we go. That unit gets destroyed. He used some powers against me. I could use restoration if I want to. That's a way of healing my guys really quick. That said, the Minotaurs are doing really good work right now. I think I'm kind of okay with what I've got. Why they're standing around not doing much, that's a mystery to me, but okay, there we go. Much, much better. Notice the cooldown here on the bolt. Now, one thing that you need to be aware of, though, there is going to be a favor cost to reuse an ability. So the first time is free, that's how they get you. Everything after that, it does cost some. So having a lot of favor suddenly becomes a very, very powerful bonus. And actually, I think that the Atlanteans may be in trouble because they have nothing left here. Good, all right, cool. I'm not going to attack their town center, but if I could maybe attack their temples and stuff and prevent them from getting more myth units, that's not bad. Let's start training more stuff. Aha, and here's what I was looking for, some villagers. Okay, that's what I want to go do. I want to go kill the villagers and start hitting his economy. They've got some really, really good ranged cavalry units, though. I don't remember these being a thing. Where'd these guys come from? Hey! All right, use restoration. Let's just go ahead and start healing. Why not? It only costs favor. And that in and of itself is actually one of the biggest differences, I think, in Retold. The fact that I can use an ability and feel like I actually am free to use it instead of having to save it for the last minute, that is a huge difference from the original. Maybe what I really need, honestly, is just to get myself, like, some siege equipment. That would make my life easier, too, right? For sure. But for that, I need to get a fortress. And a fortress is actually what I need in order to get to the mythological age anyway. So, yeah, we'll need to work on that. Look, I think we've done enough harassing at this point, but we've lost some units. We've inflicted more losses than we took, all right? That's good enough for the moment. So let's start building that fortress in a good defensive location, like right there. We can also get siege units from that, so that's going to make life a lot easier. There's my fort. Okay, so can we move on into the Myth Age? Yes. Do I want Hera or Hephaestus? Hephaestus can give me a lot of resources, plus the Colossus. But the Medusa Gorgons are quite strong with Hera. I think I'm probably going to go with Hephaestus. Works well for the Armory and all the unique units and stuff that we are getting, though I do like Hera quite a lot, so this seems fine. Also going to make sure we build up a market far away so that I can send some trade routes. The longer my caravans travel, the more money they get. This is very similar to things like Age of Empires. It should be familiar to you. Let's get myself some catapults. And with some siege engines to make it easy to knock things down, now we can start inflicting some serious damage. And there's Age of Myth. Okay, so let's go ahead and place down the Vault of Plenty. Let's say right here is fine. And now we're passively going to start generating extra resources. Thank you. All right, catapults start doing some serious damage while we take care of their army. It's doing some shockwaves, no surprise, but I'm fairly hardy right now, so he's not looking great. And let's go ahead and start dogpiling hard on his town center. I think we can go ahead and just burn this down, especially with a couple of these, what are they called? Petrobolos over here. There we go. That didn't take long at all. Beautiful. All right. Now we go for, I guess we stick back and take care of his hill fort. But we can start taking down all of his training buildings, and the Atlanteans are going to be out for the count. Perfect. All right, happy about that. Let's go back to our normal game. What else can I do? Could start building some Heliopolis. These are very strong siege units. I love those. Also, the Colossus, 350 gold, very expensive. We can upgrade those to be silver and then eventually golden colossi. Those are strong. Looks like the other players are getting into the mythical age as well now, so we're a little bit behind where I would have liked to be, but it's okay. Make sure we also get some upgrades. I want these guys to be our max level. Our economy should be looking pretty good at all times here, to be honest. I don't think I'm too worried. Okay, so green is really to surrender. Perfect. And what abilities did I get also from Hephaestus? Yeah, cheaper, cheaper techs. It sounds like a great idea. Olympian weapons? Sure, yeah, I like the idea of everything being a lot cheaper. Now we can really start ramping up. And it's honestly not much more that I can train. I'm kind of at my housing cap, so I say next we go take down the Egyptians. Now notice on standard difficulty that the AI has not really harassed me, like, at all. Which seems a little odd, right? I feel like we should have been attacked. Yet somehow we were not. Whatever. So, Egyptians, what do you got for me? Anything exciting? Well, we'll send in the siege units and go deal with their stronghold, and here's all the goodies. All right, I'm gonna use a lightning bolt. No, I'm not gonna use a lightning bolt. We're gonna hold off. Because I think, can I actually get a second Hephaestus vault? Oh my gosh, I can. That's insane. Yeah, this changes things. So now my economy is gonna be going burr for a long, long time. All right, well, that's easy enough. Let's go take down their citadel. That is their upgraded town center, because Egyptians get to do Egyptian things. A lot of my units taking some damage. If I had more favor, I'd go for a restoration, but as it is, I'm not feeling too threatened. I think we've taken down almost all of their army. They got a lot of static defenses, and that's honestly about it. The Egyptians are actually one of my favorite factions to play. I do think they're quite fun and quite strong, but you wouldn't know that from what we're doing to them right now. I do like also, by the way, you know, the fact that we have some more modernized graphics is things like destructible buildings. Like, look at that actually taking damage and stuff as it's getting beaten down. As opposed to the old game where things just kind of had those little fire sprites and then they just sort of descended into the deep, right, when they got destroyed. Yeah, lots of little improvements here. Honestly, the game is gorgeous. There's no way around it. Yes, you may surrender. That's fine. All right, now I want to go home and have a chance to heal up. So tell you what, let's go ahead and place an underworld passage. How about down over here and then right up by the temple like so? Okay, everyone hop in. You can imagine this is going to be a very nice power-up, so while I think about what I'm going to do next, we're good to go. Now, I do want to research the secrets of the Titans. Now, what this does is it unlocks a very, very powerful unit for me that usually takes a very long time to build, to the point where it's arguably not even, like, really worth it. Like, I could just go and kill yellow right now and not even worry about it. And that might be the right call, to be honest, but it'd be more fun to just go ahead and unlock a Titan. I am also rolling in income. These plenty vaults, 2 of them is insane. It does get more expensive, though. 400 favor to get a third. Oh, and we have learned about the Titans. Okay, so what we would do here, and this is something that came in with the Atlantean DLC, we can place down a gate that leads directly to Tartarus. Like right there, for example. Cool. Workers, forget everything else you're doing. I have plenty of everything else, except for favor. All of you go and just excavate. Excavate like crazy. This is literally me just toying with my food, by the way, because I absolutely should just go and kill the other player right now. But, like, come on. And it takes a long time to build this. I mean, I've got 29 workers working on this, and we're still only, you know, about 45 seconds to go, but we're about 2/3 of the way. Yeah, it takes a fair while. It's extremely worth it, though, for reasons you're about to see. Boom! Whoop, just sort of clipped out there. That kind of spoiled it a little bit, but there he is. Hi, Cerberus. Oh, who's a good boy? Wow, you look great, actually. Oh, man, they clearly pulled out the stops to make the Titans look good. That's beautimous. All right, so basically he's extremely slow, but stupidly strong and almost unkillable unless the enemy also has a Titan to fight each other. So with this walking behemoth, he can wipe out pretty much everything. Looks like we found a lot of enemies. Gonna go ahead and use restoration just to make sure I'm nice and topped off and no one can mess with me for a while. And lightning bolt on the fire giant. There you go. Sure. Thank you. Man, they actually obliterated my siege units. I don't really know how they did that, but okay. Doesn't matter. I got a Titan. The Titan go crush. Boom. Oh, nice healing fountain over here. It would be a shame if something were to happen to it. And that is to say, I were to take it so I could heal myself while I go. Anyway, there goes that thing. That was beautimous. Yep, these guys are just ridiculously strong, but they're so fun to play with. Come on, they look great. Also, by the way, I think there has been some rebalancing in a few things, especially with the Norse. I don't recall the Great Hall being a building for them before. I could be wrong on that. But it trains cavalry. Could have sworn that they could get the cavalry at things like the longhouses and the hill forts and stuff, but here it is. So I don't know, little bits of changes here and there in the game. The recharging god powers are just legitimately a massive change in the game, though. I actually can make use of my abilities. Ugh, now I have to do this stupid little game where I have to hunt for the last Norseman. They're hiding somewhere, I know they are. Oh, wait. Okay, he's willing to give up. Perfect, thank you. And we are victorious. It was never really in doubt, let's be honest. All right, overview and timelines and stuff. Oh yeah, they didn't stand much of a chance. Worked out great for me. Still, that felt like the Age of Mythology from my childhood, just looking a heck of a lot better. And that was just a simple skirmish. Now, of course, the campaign is one of the big draws of the game, and honestly, for good reason. There is the original campaign, The Fall of the Trident, following Arkantos, a hero from Atlantis. And then the Golden Gift, which I could swear actually started off as a downloadable story when the internet was still kind of not very well used for games. You had to get DLCs on discs. But this was one of the things you could download and play with, and it was actually quite fun. And there's also the New Atlantis from the old Atlantean DLC. So overall, I think about 50 missions for the campaign. Now, I do have a complaint about the campaign, a very serious one. And it's the voice acting. I'm sorry to say, I actually feel like the voice acting has gone down a little bit. It's not that it's bad per se, but you do a side-by-side comparison, and I think you'll see what I mean.
That looked like Theris. It has been a long time since you sent him to the underworld, Arkantos. Fighting old battles again?
That looked like Theris. It has been a long time since you sent him to the underworld, Arkantos. Fighting old battles again?
Curse Dry and those who dwell within her walls. They torched our food stores and tents. Even most of the ships. We'll be lucky to even escape here now.
Curse Troy and those who dwell within her walls. They torched our food stores and tents. Even most of the ships. We'll be lucky to even escape here now.
I don't understand. Will it fight?
I don't understand. Will it fight?
You hear, like, the difference in, like, the tone and just, like, kind of the depth of the characters? Agamemnon is, like, this smarmy guy you kind of hate from the original. This guy just sounds Annoying. I don't know. I don't know why exactly they changed that out. Personally, one of the things I would probably want to see as a mod for Age of Mythology is literally just swapping out the audio files with the original, but there you go. There's also the Freyr DLC, which is a new god that is added. This is not included in the base game, I don't believe. This will be something that is sold separately, but a whole new Norse major god. I assume they're going to release a new one for the Greeks and Egyptians at some point. We probably can expect the Chinese mythology at some point. There's also something I've never seen before called Mythical Battles. This might be part of the Norse DLC. Regenleif's Rally? I don't know if this is exactly a new campaign. It's not sorted that way, but it certainly could be fun. So yeah, there's like a lot of new stuff. It's not just a remaster. It literally is a reimagining and a retelling of something that we all enjoyed a long, long time ago. I personally think the game is beautiful. There's just a little things that I want to see fixed. I want that villager ratio stuff to work. Other than that, though, like, I'm quite happy with how this looks. It's just such eye candy, and the nostalgia is coursing through my veins. Thank you all very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative and helpful in some way. I'll include a link in the description down below if you want to find out more. This game, again, is coming out on September 4th on PC and on console, and there will be crossplay because of Xbox Game Pass, which is pretty cool. Be sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy the video, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.